and you'll have it just downloaded on your shit.
What? That's horseshit.
All right, we are live here. I got three of some of my best friends in the world here tonight: Carver King, Brian White, and Josh Nichols. What's going on in the Twins game? What happened?
What happened, Kubi?
We're in the bottom of the 10th here, the Twins and Red Sox. We're going to keep an eye on that tonight.
And they got it wrong.
They sent a play to New York in the bottom of the 10th and got it wrong.
New York always fucks up, man. That's been quite the theme here with the.
I think that's just the city of New York in general. I think it's athletically, socially in New York. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but New York's quite a wild place.
I've never been to New York.
Where do you think they should station the replay at, Nichols, instead of New York?
I like a non-biased city, maybe like something honest, something like a Fort Wayne, Indiana, something blue collar.
That's a good spot.
Gary, Indiana, something pretty blue collar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee's a good one. Maybe Jefferson City, Missouri, something like that.
That'd be a good one.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Get them
I was
far
about to
away.
say,
from
what
St.
about Des
Louis.
Moines, Iowa?
Des Moines, Iowa's a great spot, centrally located. I mean,
We were talking about. That's funny you bring that up because I think, like, not that Des Moines gets shit on, but sometimes just not being from Iowa, I've shit on Des Moines. But
right.
Des Moines is close to. It's a good sized city with an airport, and it's close to Kansas City, and it's close to Minneapolis, and not too far from Chicago. So
Right.
it's not a bad spot. Not a bad spot. Kansas City.
It's big enough. It's big enough. You got the city feel, but you don't have that Chicago traffic or the.
Yeah, I suppose. I think. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of traffic in the Des Moines area, though. It's all highway. That's my.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
my
Iowa's
thought.
beautiful though. You get all four seasons. Can't say that in every state.
That's very true. That's very true.
And it's had a lot of success with the NCAA tournament. Like there's a time when people didn't think they would be able to host that, and
People
now
show
it's
out
like a
for it. I
staple.
mean, it's hard to get tickets to that, especially
I
like
mean-
when Kansas plays there or something.
Yeah.
Like this year, Kansas and
it's
Illinois were both there.
It's a good area for collegiate. Iowa in general is just a good state for collegiate sports. You know,
Yeah.
they support their teams.
I
People
mean,
are
no
interested.
Big Four pro teams. So
Yeah. We'll see. You guys have the Field of Dreams field, though. You know what I mean? Have that going for you.
yeah.
We do
That's
have
true.
that.
Although it is
And
going
Kingston Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey.
Nothing touches Walston Hoover though.
Oh, I
That
don't
is
know.
true.
I mean, some call Kingston Stadium the mecca of high school football. So it's just a brilliant venue. That place is going to be rocking this fall. So
I mean, when the Pride of Cedar Rapids plays the Jefferson Jayhawks.
So is the Field of Dreams game just moved for a year or two? Well, the Twins walk it off. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Kyle Farmer walk off in the bottom
Nice.
of the 10th.
that's a good blue collar name, Kyle Farmer, right?
Yeah,
Right,
third
Nichols?
baseman.
Yeah,
Should that
hey,
be the guy making the decisions?
I wouldn't be upset about it. It's an
Mhm.
Iowa name. It's just an
Yeah.
Iowa name.
Yeah.
So is the Field of Dreams game just moved while they're doing renovations, or what's going on with that? Why is it changed?
I don't know, but I think it's pretty fucked up that the Cardinals are in the Field of Dreams game and it's not at the Field of Dreams. Like,
where is it this year?
It's Atlanta, right?
Yeah. No, is
No.
it? Is it in Atlanta?
That's
somewhere
next year.
south.
Next year they're doing it in Alabama. I think it's
Yeah.
at,
Next year they're doing it.
It's at like I don't know what it's at. It's at some venue down there.
I don't
feel
know
like
where
we
in
would've been hearing
I don't
about
know
it
where
if
in
it was in
Alabama they're going to be
Dyersville.
walking out of corn, but
They won't be. I think it'll
way
be a
to,
little
way to go
different setup.
MLB. Way to go.
They're
Yeah.
walking out of peach trees with
That was another bad decision of the MLB. You know.
yeah. Mr. Manfred. He's just really, really blowing it nowadays. It's not looking good. Where the A's going? Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That'll be sick.
Yeah, that'll be
Vegas
cool.
deserves a team. I think it's do they have 30 or 32 in the MLB? It's 30, right?
30 right now.
30. Yeah, 30.
I think if they had a 31st, they got to add a 32nd though.
Right.
they're
You
looking
can't
at
have an odd
expanding,
number.
too.
You can't have an odd
Nashville
number.
is what I was seeing as
They
like the
gotta have
second
one.
city. So Nashville and Vegas.
Well, yeah. No, so the two highest attendance AAA teams are the Las Vegas 80 Aviators and the Nashville Sounds. So it makes
Oh,
a lot of
nice.
sense to put a team in those two cities. Problem is they're relocating the A's to Las Vegas, so that's not an expansion team. But they
I think
wanna
you go to
Very
like
true.
Charlotte then.
Yeah. Oh,
Charlotte's got a sweet AAA
Charlotte.
stadium there.
I mean, Charlotte sustains obviously the Panthers. Hurricanes are pretty good in hockey too, but Baseball, I don't know.
Raleigh.
You already got. Oh, my bad. But you think, I don't know, with the Braves there too, kind of taking up a lot of share of fans. I
Yeah.
just don't know if you went Nashville and Charlotte. I just don't know. But
That's
who
fair.
knows? I don't know. But the A's moving to Vegas.
Get a team back to Montreal.
That is true, honestly. We need more
That would be
Canadian
sick.
teams.
You could go
I think-
Western Canada, honestly.
The
Yeah,
only
Vancouver.
reason they moved.
Vancouver.
The only reason they moved is because their stadium.
If
was so
we're
shitty.
talking expansions, like if you're gonna expand, we're talking cities. Because you can't go back to Oakland. Do they get like
No, you
9,000
That
fans?
They've
really
blown
sucks
through
that you
4
can't
teams
go
already.
back to Oakland. Like,
You got
I
chicks
feel
blowing
bad for
dudes in the third
fans.
tier.
That
Like
is true.
Whoa, okay. Are we gonna hate on that, or is that like
I'm not hating on
something
it, but
we're-
I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, like
the fact that there's not enough people there that like
that
you
people
can
can get
notice
away
them
with
doing
doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like, you
can-
feel comfortable doing that after a few drinks.
yeah, that's a problem.
That's just the Bay Area
Yeah.
Hey,
chaos.
This seems to be a theme. New York, not a Bay Area, is like Chicago going to be next as the next area?
I have a
I
soft
mean,
spot for Chicago being a Midwest kid, but
Fair.
I don't. We're not talking.
how about
here to talk
Oakland just
sports.
going?
I
Oakland
asked-
just going
yeah.
straight down the shitter though. Like my
Yeah.
God, they lost the Warriors,
Yeah.
Raiders, and the
Yeah.
A's all within like 3-4 years. Like that's just-
Genuinely feel bad for the fans. That would just be incredibly depressing.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how you would like cope with that.
you
And the
don't.
Warriors moved.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The Warriors
They
moved to
lost
San
4.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
Does that count as moving for the Warriors? I mean, they did go to San Francisco, but that's still.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
different city for sure. If you live in Oakland, you know,
You're like 20 miles away.
Yeah, but there's a lot of traffic. You know, it's probably
Yeah.
just a
Right.
bigger,
Well,
bitch on the daily.
Yeah.
Are
I mean,
A's
I don't-
Giants,
too.
is that
That
a
big
rival?
city traffic.
Yeah. God. How awful.
Are
And
the
you're
A's
just right on
Giants-
a
are they
fault line. Like
rivalry?
you could be just driving across the bay on a bridge and just die because of an earthquake.
I mean,
Nichols,
you
do
could-
you Nichols,
What?
do you like California or like Southern California? Like, is that a place that you like desire to live?
Dude, I don't want to pay those taxes. Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, shit.
I mean, if we're
No, I-
strictly
I-
I've been
talking
to I've been to Southern California. I've been to Palm Springs a couple times. Played some golf
Been to
down
Palm
there. That's a
Springs.
beautiful
Oh, really?
area.
Nice.
But I went to LA once in third grade. It was okay. I mean, I could
what are
LA-
your
live
thoughts on
there.
LACC?
LACC is a spectacular golf course. It is a horrible venue.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear the traffic.
I don't
the
know
whole
if it's
time,
I
and
don't
it
know
could
if
be-
it's like a major championship golf course. It is a great golf course. Like there's great golf courses that aren't fit to host major. Cypress Point, if you want to
Yeah.
stay in California, go up to Monterey. It's one of the greatest courses in the world. But like it's not a major championship course.
Yeah.
Not a venue for it. You don't have room for grandstands. Like LACC was a horrible spectator venue. There's only 9,500 or 9,000. Sorry, my bad. 9,000 general admission tickets, and the country club they bought 4,500 of them. So there were like 4,500 like legit like general admission fans for a
wasn't it only
national
the-
championship.
Wasn't it only the second time that LACC had hosted the U.S. Open, and it's like the first time since like the
Something.
40s or something? I
Yeah,
believe.
if they hosted it, it was a long time back then. It is back there in 2039. However, I won't be surprised if the USGA changes that just based on this week.
Nichols, we got to hash something out here. Ricky Fowler is not a great golfer. He has not had a great career. We had an argument about this the other day. We need to hash this out.
Sorry, one sec.
You listen to me when I'm talking to you, Nichols.
Ricky Fowler is not an all-time great by any means. Like, no. He transcended golf apparel. I'll give him that. Yeah, I mean, he started a new wave, modernized golf apparel,
I'll give him that. Okay.
but he has had a great career. He just hasn't got a major. There's multiple guys that have had great careers that have not got a major.
Who?
Lee Westwood has 44 wins all time. That's like absurd. To get 4 or 5 wins on a PGA Tour is a good career. I mean, look at the guys you're out there every week with. I mean, Ricky, early in his career, he still had a fairly healthy Tiger Woods. Ricky Fowler was Rookie of the Year in 2011. 2013, Tiger Woods was an elite player. He didn't get a major that year, but that was one of his best seasons of all time. Obviously, 2018, 2019, when he's healthy, he's competing in majors. He's ran into Brooks Koepka having an unreal run. And he ran in early in his career when he was competing majors. 2014, he was top 5 in all 4 of them. Rory McIlroy won 2 of them. Rory had an unreal run there when he was like 25. He hasn't won a major in 9 years, but he won 2 of them. 2014, he won the Open, I think at Liverpool, which is where it is this year. And he won the PGA at Valhalla, where the PGA is at next year. And then Pinehurst number 2 was the U.S. Open site. Martin Keimer of Germany had a great week. And then the Masters that year was Bubba's second green jacket. So
What a time it was to be a Puma snapback during Ricky's
right.
little
And that's
run
the other
he had.
thing with
Yeah.
Ricky
My God.
Fowler. If he ever were to get a major, I think it's got to be a PGA championship. I think that's what suits him best. I don't think link style golf really suits him over across the pond. I don't know if Augusta is the place he gets it done. And typically a US Open, like he's not a guy that wins a US Open. He's not going to overpower a course.
Nichols, you can't be a great golfer and not win a major. You can't be listed as one of the great golfers if you've never won a major. I don't care how
I
many.
never said he was an all-time great. There's a difference
I didn't
between
say
being an
all-time. I just
all-time
said
great
in general.
and having a great career.
I said he's had a good career.
Dan Marino had a great
great.
career and never won a Super Bowl.
Dan Marino,
I would
Some
argue
would
it's
argue
hard-
Dan Marino would never last in today's NFL, though.
So, okay, Elgin
Man.
Baylor. Drew used that on me the other day. Elgin Baylor was an 11-time All-Star. That's a great career. He just never got a ring.
Hey, congrats
It's
on the
different
win.
sports. It's different. Basketball is completely different.
Yeah, I would argue if you have a good team, it's easier to win in basketball than it would be to win a major.
I feel like as a golf casual, like Ricky Fowler really made a name for himself, really became a name. I mean, obviously, like you guys said, he hasn't won the big one yet, but I mean, the fact that he is recognizable face, I feel like on the tour, competitive year in, year out, like you said, rookie of the year. I mean, for me, I mean, yeah, I feel like that makes you great. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not a golf head in the same sense, but I feel like I know who he is. I feel like he's always been relevant. He's been relevant for over a decade. Maybe he's not been the best, but that means something, you know?
Right. And I think the highest he was ever ranked in the world rankings was 4.
That's
So he was a top 5 golfer in the world at one point. He's recognizable by people, whether you're a casual golfer, you barely know a lot about golf, or you really know golf. Like Ricky Fowler, like that's a recognizable name. He did win the Players one year too. Like that. I mean, it's not a major, but people
What a
say that's
tournament
the
that
5th
was,
major.
too.
And that was electric. He took down
Yep.
Chaw Daddy Kevin Kisner in a playoff, and he owned the 17th hole that day.
I do remember that one.
And
That was
then
awesome.
his girlfriend at the time came out to 17 to greet him after his win. And, you know, that was definitely a sight that the fans loved.
So if we say that Ricky Fowler has a great career, can we say that Philip Rivers has had a great career?
I mean, Philip Rivers had a good career, but I would argue, it's a different sport. Like you said with Dan Marino, I think it varies, but I do think Dan Marino, like you say, he might not last in today's NFL, but at the time, I mean, I would say he had a pretty great career. I mean, he just never won a Super Bowl. He was really good though.
What do you mean by that, Brian, when you say that Dan Marino wouldn't last in today's NFL?
I mean, it's just a different game. Like,
I think you would.
I feel like he'd be all right. I mean, he was a strong arm quarterback, right? Kind of thought of as a gunslinger. First quarterback to throw for over 5,000 yards, I believe. Could be wrong.
The thing, okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. He would last. I just think it's so different now. Like the run game was so different back then.
Yeah.
The different pass on, like the way to win games as a quarterback is so different now that it's like you just don't know. Like a lot of people say the argument against, like, I hate to bring this up, but Dak Prescott is like he doesn't win games, like he doesn't win the big one. Dan Marino hasn't won the big one, never won the big one. So like
True.
I don't know. Like if you want to say that Dak Prescott, for example, or Philip Rivers or any of those guys like aren't very good quarterbacks, aren't franchise quarterbacks because they can't win playoff games, what do you say about Dan Marino at that point? Like it's very, I don't know. The whole narrative around quarterbacks is so stupid to me. Like I just think like you're either good or you're not. So I think Dan Marino would get torched on social media just because how like it's just different. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
I guess with Dak, I've been thinking about Dak because I'm a Dak defender. I like Dak, although I will say Dak is wearing with me. I guess I'll throw this to the audience or you guys, I'm not totally sure. Who would you guys rather have? Let's say like 3 years, next 3 years, 4 years, 4 years your average contract. Dak or Lamar?
that's an impossible question for me. I don't know. I can't say Dak without coming off as like biased. But at the same time, I don't think Lamar Jackson can win games throwing in the pocket. I just don't think he can. And it's hard to.
That's a tough question.
That is really.
I was thinking about
I
this
hate
yesterday.
on Dak a lot just to like mess with you, BJ. But I mean, he's good. Yeah, he throws a shit ton of interceptions, but I mean, he's good.
He did.
I've always liked Dak. I like Dak in college, too.
Let me stop you right there. This is the only year of his 7-8 year career now where he led the league in interceptions or was even close. So, and the other thing is Josh Allen led the league in interceptions like 2-3 years in a row. And everybody's like, oh, he's a top 3 quarterback. So like,
1 sec.
where do you
I
draw
gotta
the
be
line?
Right back. We're looking for a remote.
You guys gotta get taped to a brick, you know.
Yeah, that's what we
saved
did.
us throughout college.
That's what we did at the ranch last year.
Yeah.
That's a tough scenario because you got two guys who don't win in the playoffs, haven't won in the playoffs.
I'm not super into this whole Lamar doesn't win in the playoffs narrative. He played what, 3 games? 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Has he won one? Did he win one? He might have won one, right? Or did he win 3?
I think he's 1 and 2. Maybe?
I remember the first game was really bad.
Yeah, it was against the Chargers, right?
Yeah, that was not good. But I think he was a rookie.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that's messed up right now about the NFL playoffs is that the whole narrative is if you're a quarterback that doesn't win playoff games, you're not a good quarterback. And we see so many different factors that go into every single NFL game. And like Brock Purdy won what, 3 this year? Brock Purdy won 3 playoff games. He has more than probably 90% of NFL quarterbacks now. You want to put him in the top. You want to put him in the top 7 of NFL quarterbacks now because he's won 3 playoff games. I just think that's ridiculous. But
yeah, the Brock Purdy thing kind of crushed the kind of whole. I mean, obviously the QB wins narrative has kind of been out the window. I mean, I've always been a guy lately too, where, you know, obviously these quarterbacks make massive money. We did see Lamar this offseason, you know, kind of get his hand slapped. No, we're not going to give you fully guaranteed money, which I think is good because I was just wondering how long we could go and keep paying quarterbacks because at a certain point, you know, they can be overpaid. It's a salary cap league. I know, obviously, the NFL doesn't like to hear that because those are the darlings. But I have been interested to see kind of this pullback and kind of see, you know, how this will level out. And I think Brock Purdy doing what he did last year, I mean, is great evidence for GMs, you know, that you don't necessarily need to shell out on a quarterback. You need a good quarterback. You need an accurate quarterback. You need a quarterback that can process very quickly, which, I mean, makes you a good quarterback, obviously. But I don't know if any of us are here ready to say that Brock Purdy is a good NFL quarterback. Maybe you guys are. But maybe that'll kind of change the trend we've seen of just guys getting bag after bag. Because,
Iowa State doesn't produce NFL guys. Just
So what do you think? Will McDonald's going to be a bust out there in New York?
He's good. I think Brees Hall was having a really good year before he got hurt too.
I think he led the league in rushing.
I was. I had him drafted on my fantasy team. You know, he was a serviceable running back too, or maybe I had him in the flex. I don't know, but he was playing good.
Sure.
I think it would take Lamar of the two. I think he's got more upside still. I think I've seen Dak's been around, you know, a couple more years, and he's gotten closer. He's got more success in the playoffs, but I don't know. I feel like Lamar, he still hasn't really found like, yeah, he's gone to the playoffs a couple times, but I feel like he hasn't really had like their team yet. Like, I feel like the Ravens can improve a lot still. Even the years they make the playoffs, it just haven't really seemed like they've had a complete team.
This is a really big year. This is a really big year for both of them because the Ravens are saying they're going to like revitalize their offense and spread it out more and throw to all these guys they keep signing on the edge and then wasting their talent. And then on the flip side, the way the Cowboys have always played with Ezekiel Elliott is run into the back of the offensive line on 1st and 2nd down. All of a sudden you're playing for 3rd down the entire game.
Yeah.
We were good on 3rd down, but it's like, holy shit, when you have 25 3rd downs a game, you're not going to win very often. It's just not how it is. So when we change the whole, get into more play action passing, stop running the stupid Boise State bullshit that Kellen Moore kept calling. That's why I think the Chargers aren't going to be very good this year. We can get into that at a different time. But I just think now that we have Tony Pollard, we got a little bit more speed on the edges. We're still looking to add another receiver. We got Brandon Cooks in the offseason. Like, I think the Cowboy, like everybody's talking all this about how the Eagles improved so much, and they did. But at the same time, I think cutting Zeke, trading for Stephon Gilmore to add something on the other side of that defensive backfield. It's a big year for Dak Prescott. It's almost like, holy shit, you cannot screw this up, dude. You're the second best quarterback in the NFC, pretty much unanimously.
Wow.
Who's better?
Whoa.
Kirk Cousins?
Ooh.
I'm not. I mean, we don't have to sit here and get too into it, but
I think it's
guess
close between them two.
It is close. It is close. And like I said, I'm a Dak defender. I am
Stafford.
a defender, but I just you say Dak's the second best quarterback in the NFC. I just got to stop you there.
It's Dak. It's Jalen Hurts and Dak. That's my opinion.
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish your rant because it was good.
Well, anyway, so I just think there's a lot riding on him this year. Now there's like they always had the excuse of the offensive coordinator and the shitty play calling on it. Like you have to be good on first down in the NFL. The Cowboys were terrible in first down efficiency the last 3 years. And when you're constantly in second and long, third and long, it's so hard. That's another reason that interceptions went way up because he threw so many on third down that it's like we're forcing the ball down the field at that point. And that's not when we win with Dak. When we're winning with Dak Prescott, we're good on first down, throwing play action passes, being efficient, throwing like they call him Dink a Dak, but I don't understand why that's an insult to any quarterback. Like when you're throwing short, efficient passes, it just doesn't make sense to me for that to be a knock on anybody. But I don't know. So it's a big year. That's all I'm saying for him and Lamar.
The NFC is going to stink this year too. I mean, and the whole NFC South is horrible. I mean, obviously the Eagles are still very good, and they got a lot better in the draft.
We'll see. I mean, it's easy to be like these teams are going to be sleepers, but Falcons, I think they'll take a leap. I think the Panthers will take a leap. So, yeah, they're not going to be great, but I don't know those teams will be great, but those teams will be scrappy. I mean, if you have them on the schedule, I don't think they're automatic W's.
I think the Saints are going to win that division.
Sure.
And that might be a crazy thing to say, but with like Derek Carr, they finally have a stable quarterback. If Alvin Kamara is healthy and I mean they have good receivers. Chris Olave is going to be back. And I don't know. They got some guys. I'd be worried about the Saints if my team was in that division. But
who's the Saints?
It's also wide open. Huh?
Who's the Saints head coach?
Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator. They promoted to head coach. He was a former failed coach of the then Oakland Raiders.
Yeah. No, I think they'll win that division. I like Dennis.
Oh wow! I'm not a super big believer in the Saints. I get why. I mean, they have the best quarterback on paper. I get why, but I'm not ready. There's always
that division's just a joke.
If I had to put money on anybody to win that division, I would put money on the Panthers.
Really?
Bryce Young, rookie year.
Bryce Young. I mean, Adam Thielen, who's not great. They also drafted a rookie receiver, and they have J.C. Horn coming back and improving. Their defense was actually pretty good. Jeremy Chin. So I don't know. The Vikings played them last year, the Vikings played them last year, kind of close. And I don't know. They've always been they have a scrappy defense, so we'll see. I think Bryce Young's going to work, so we'll see if they can protect him, I guess.
We complete
the
halfback pass. Yes, it's driving right here.
I think the Falcons will be pretty good too. I like Desmond Ridder. I'm a big Desmond Ridder guy. I think they'll finish second, honestly.
I mean, they're going to run for 3,000 yards with Bijan and Tyler Algier and. I mean, last year that's what they did. I don't think they're going to change off that game plan. So
they still have Kyle Pitts.
They got to throw him the ball. I was just going to say, like, if they want to win, like he hasn't got the ball at all
for his own development too. Otherwise, like he's officially going to be a bust if he has another bad season. Unfortunate for him. I still think he's good, but I thought this would have been a better fit. But that's what happens when you get drafted and coach gets fired, GM gets gets canned, just get lost in the wash a little bit.
I mean, you could argue the Falcons got the two best like overall prospects in the last two drafts, like the most generational, at their position in the last two drafts. And it's like they can't be bad again, and they got to give them the ball. They have to throw Kyle Pitts the ball. They have to give Bijan Robinson the ball. And it sucks because running backs run out quickly nowadays, but he almost has to get the ball like 16 times a game, whether you throw it to him or.
Well, yeah, I think he's going to be. I haven't looked at any of the fantasy, but I think he's going to be a top fantasy guy. Bijan Robinson, because I mean he's good. I think he's going to be productive right away.
He's going to get the ball a shit ton too.
Yeah, he's going to get the ball. Yeah, exactly.
And they reached for him a little bit, like a minor reach at where they take him at 9 or 8 or something like that.
GM's not going to want to look bad. He's going to tell coach to run him.
Yeah.
The Bucks will
Maybe that's who I'll pick with my first pick this year. A little sleeper, Bijan Robinson.
You have the
Yeah.
first pick, and you're taking a Bijan.
I mean, I don't know if I have the first pick, but maybe I
You have
will.
like 5. If you have like 4, take Bijan.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate taking him in the top 5 of fantasy draft. I still think 1 is going to be probably. I mean, CMC, Jonathan Taylor. I don't know. I'm not ready to throw away Jonathan Taylor yet. I don't think, but
I mean, neither.
Especially now that they're running the Eagles offense. Shane Steichen.
True, good point. I forgot they hired Shane Steichen.
They're going to be running the shit out of the ball.
Jonathan Taylor's just good. Like
he will have a bounce back year. He will. The offense is going to bounce back. We don't have an old scrub at quarterback anymore.
you beat the Chiefs last year.
We beat the Chiefs last year, 16-13. I think it was a scrappy game.
I was watching that during one of our tournaments.
Yeah, that was on Sunday. That was like a 3:00 game. I think Tony Romo was on the call for that. Jim Nance. That's when
That might have been. I think that was a noon game because I was playing at Wedgwood Cove and Albert Lee for Waldorf's tournament. I was watching that during the
That
round.
might be right. That might
Albert
have been
Lee.
off. But I just remember it was Jim Nance, Tony Romo for that.
Albert
that
Lee in the
course?
land of 10,000 ponds.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, wow.
Almost
Wow.
Spencer
Wow.
Enderley.
Wow.
That guy, Carver.
Albert Lee, for being not a huge town, actually has 2 pretty good courses. I think Wedgwood's a nice course, link style. Unfortunately, when we played out there, the wind is just blown. Like it played really hard last year, but they got another course in town called Greenlee that's just a hidden gem.
What the hell is link style golf? Like, what does
Yeah.
that
No
mean?
tree,
Yeah, what
like
does that
prairie
mean?
links. It's like minimal
That doesn't
trees.
help.
The wind
Okay.
blows. A lot of no-mo. Like link style golf is what they play over in England, like the Open Championship.
A lot of rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean traditionally it's alongside water too, but I mean you can't really get that unless you're on the coast in the U.S. or up in Wisconsin, Whistling Straits, up on Lake Michigan.
The coasts are very nice. California, New York, Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington. Good places
Yeah,
to live.
you get like I guess South Carolina, like a Kiowa Island.
Yeah.
That's where you can kind of get a link style, or out on Long Island too, Shinnecock Hills, PGA Links of America. Yeah, Friars Head.
What would you classify TPC Scottsdale as?
Desert golf.
I don't know what the fuck that means either.
The
Like,
ball
I don't know
fly
the
or
word.
what?
It's just desert golf. Oh, in Arizona, the ball flies.
Yeah.
Thin air, you're in altitude. Like ball flies. And it's usually warm. So
Can't complain there.
What kind of golf are you getting in Maryland?
Parkland, probably.
What kind of style? What's the weather like out there? Like, what are you looking at?
Right now.
Not right now, just in general.
Mild, probably. It's Maryland. Like, I don't know.
Doesn't Massachusetts have the oldest golf course?
No.
St. Andrews,
Yeah,
the
St.
home of
Andrews.
In
golf in
America.
Scotland.
In America, of course, England
It
has
could. It very well could. I actually don't know what the oldest course in America is. I know. Listen to this though. Waveland Golf Course in Des Moines, right on I-235, oldest city-owned, so oldest municipal golf course west of the Mississippi.
Nice.
Hey, very good.
Yeah.
Gotta
So
love
we get-
that.
So I don't know the oldest course in America, but I'll throw that one out for you.
I'm looking it up. That's a good fact.
That is a good fact to know.
Chicago Golf Club, Wheaton, Illinois, 1892.
It doesn't surprise me. Waveland was like
1892?
1908 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Hey,
Chicago.
that was a great year for
Chicago
the
Golf
Chicago
Club is
Cubs.
legit.
There's a couple ones claiming they're the oldest. I see one here that says this is one I thought I've heard of. It's in Pennsylvania, Foxburg, 1887. I think Mason Doyle golfed there once. Tyson Doyle golfed
Nice.
there. I
Good for
think that's the
Mason
oldest
Doyle.
one.
He's a father, correct? No, Tyson Dolan's father.
Tyson Dolan's the father. Shout out.
Congrats to
shout
him.
out Tyson.
Happy Father's Day.
Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Ash Dolan gets his first shout out in the podcast.
Yeah. Cash Dolan. It's a nice name.
It is.
So
He's good.
so Nichols, I'm curious, what's the nicest track you've ever played?
I've been fortunate enough to play some really sweet courses. A couple of them kind of like hidden gems. I mean, I got to play Pinehurst #2 after my senior year of high school. That place is awesome. US Open there next year. just that's kind of like it's not the oldest course in America, but like Pinehurst is kind of the home of American golf. And like you walk into their clubhouse and like it's a town of like it's not a very big town, but there's just golf everywhere you look. I think in like a 25 mile like square or 25 square mile radius, there's like 90 something courses. Like it's unreal. And just like the resort alone owns 9 courses. But like you walk in the clubhouse, there's a US Open trophy, a PGA Championship trophy, Ryder Cup, like all that. So that's up there. I got to play Kapalua in Maui, which is sweet. That's where they host the Tournament of Champions every year. TBC Scottsdale's up there, and then there are a couple courses down in Kansas. Prairie Dunes in Hutchinson, I think, is like number 28 ranked in the country. That place it's absurd how good it is. And then a place called Wolf Creek. So there's one in Nevada that's really high rated, but this one's like just south of Kansas City, just kind of hidden. There's not a lot of pictures online because they don't want a lot of people like seeing it other than members. We got on there through our head pro in Des Moines, and it's a men's only club in Olathe, and that place is sweet. It's like kind of hidden. It's in the country a little bit. It's just out there on its own, and it's unreal. So that's like the only, like, there's not very many like men's only clubs anymore, but that's one of them. And that was definitely a unique experience. I actually was hitting next to Tom Watson on the range, who's an 8-time major champion and one of the all-time greats.
Nice.
What year was it when Tom Watson was like old as dirt and just about won a major?
It was either 2010 or 2011, and he got beat by Stuart Sink at the Open Championship. And that it's kind of a shitty situation for Stuart Sink because you're like a very nice, likable guy. Like he's a very respected guy. And he just like, he's going up like, that's a lose-lose situation because you either lose the major or everyone hates you because you just took down Tom Watson, who's making a Cinderella run. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of a shitty spot to be in. But I mean, Stuart Sink's a major champ and got to give him credit for it.
So what was the deal with like Watson? Like when you're like 60 years old, can you just like turn on a dime like one day? Or like,
I think when you're like that good, like you kind of always have it like still in you. I mean, look at Bernard Long, or like he'll go to Augusta every few years and fire like a 68, 67 day one, and he's just in the mix after the first day. I mean, he loses it, but I think just some of those older guys can really, I mean, when you're an all-time great, like Tom Watson's an all-time great, 8-time major champ. I believe the Masters is the only tournament I think he didn't win. I think that's his only major. I don't think he has the career Grand Slam, but he has multiple US Opens. And I mean, when you're an all-time great, I think you can just, you can find it.
Yeah, no, Bernhard Langer has always been like one of my favorite golfers. And I always like when he shows up to those majors and plays.
I got to watch him a couple times at the Principal Charity Classic in Des Moines. Like he's just so smooth.
What's good about his game?
I mean, all those guys, once you get older, like their wedges stay so good. And like he's just so tempo. Like he's just hits good shots. Like we watched him for like 4 or 5 holes in Des Moines, and I think he was like 2 or 3 under on that stretch. Like just made it look so easy too.
Yeah, I didn't realize the NBA draft is tomorrow. That snuck up on me.
Tomorrow night, NBA draft.
Yeah, tomorrow. Wemby will be taken by the San Antonio Spurs after the NBA did pop a favor.
Do you think there's some shenanigans that go into the lottery? That seems,
yeah, probably. It doesn't really bother me though. Some people get their panties in a twist about it. I'm like, I don't know. It's whatever.
I've kind of
actually like it. The same thing happened in the NHL. Like everybody was like, "Well, the top 3 picks in the NHL draft are like Vancouver, Columbus, and Chicago." Like there's an original 6 teams, and then these 2 small market teams that nobody really gives a shit about. So they're like, "Well, they're not gonna make him go to Columbus. They're not gonna make him go to Vancouver. So they're gonna keep him in Chicago." Like everybody's like, "Oh, it's definitely rigged."
Dude,
I think
Chicago is gonna be good.
Yeah. Chicago had like the 4th best odds to win the lottery, and then they won it. So
hey, get hard for Bedard.
Yep. Hey, Hawks got the number 1 pick. Can't complain
Hawks are
about
back.
that. I hope so.
They'll be back.
The NHL.
That's a good franchise. That's like a franchise. It's kind of like even like the MLB or the NBA. Sorry, like when the Knicks are good, like basketball is good. Like it's kind of
Well,
sick
for
when
sure.
the Knicks are good.
The
I mean, the
NHL,
Celtics and Lakers are good again, so it's like classic, but
the
don't know.
NHL, like they couldn't do the same thing that they did to the Red Wings. Like the Red Wings, their original 6 team that just went absolutely down the shitter when their core retired or like got traded or whatever. The Blackhawks were kind of going into that same kind of cycle where they were all their guys were either retiring or they're on their last legs. Like Taves retired, Patrick Kane got traded to New York. So like they kind of had to do something to keep NHL or Chicago in the mix because the Red Wings aren't going to be good again probably for a long time. They're always going to kind of suck. And it's tough to bring people to Detroit, tough to bring free agents to Detroit. So, yeah, they could
Detroit's
have
had
that.
a tough
Look
run
at all the sports
sports-wise.
franchises. Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say all the
The
sports
Lions, I
franchises.
think, are going to be kind of good this year, though.
Uh,
I think the
this-
Lions get a wild card
This
spot.
isn't the first, and I agree. I think
I didn't. Are they sweet?
they'll be good, but this isn't like the first time the Lions have had some hype going into the season. They've been good before with Matthew Stafford and Megatron. I think they made the playoffs twice, but
Yeah, I think
Lost
they
to the
made it. In
Cowboys.
yes,
all the
yeah,
blue
you are.
helmets.
And then the next game was the Dak didn't catch a game, right? Or Dak caught a game,
Des
or not? Des caught a
yeah.
game, right?
Yep. They played the Lions that year. There was a big lot of controversy after that game. No call, pass interference, whatever. I mean, that's way in the past.
I'm a big
but
Dan Campbell fan. I won't be
like
upset
him
if he
a
has
lot, too.
success in Detroit. He's just and they
Couple
take Iowa
Hawkeyes.
guys. Yeah, how about taking
Couple
Campbell?
Haw-
They
couple
do
Hawkeyes
like
on that
taking
team now, too.
Hawkeyes.
Jack
Oh,
Campbell threw out the first pitch of the Tigers game today, so
Yeah.
they're all in. I think
I
Jack
see.
Campbell's going to be an outstanding linebacker in the NFL. I couldn't believe he slid that much, but
I just watched Sam Laporta take a touchdown of the house in that Citrus Bowl game.
hey,
There's
that was a
Iowa
fun
highlights
game
on
to
the
be at,
TV.
man. That was a fun game to be at. My God, I can't believe we lost it, but that was a good time.
Oh yeah.
Got our revenge this year.
Yeah, we did. I mean, against the fucking children of the poor from Kentucky, like they barely played anybody, but
Now
that was a
Iowa Penn
throwaway
State's
game.
on the TV.
yeah,
Ooh, that was which one? What year was that?
2021.
I was at the Saquon Barkley game in Kinnick.
So was I. That was heartbreaking. Got my heart
I'm-
ripped out.
I am going to the whiteout game this year. I have confirmed that. I'm making that trip.
I was at the whiteout game last year for the Gopher games. I went to Penn
How
State.
is it?
was
Is it
a
like
great
everything?
time.
Is it everything?
Oh
that
my
it
god,
happened to be?
it's the most visually stunning area I've ever been in because they'll put you. I'm guessing you'll be in the Iowa section, family section. They
Probably,
bury
yeah.
you up in the football.
Yeah, oh, I bet.
Fifth row, no lights on you. So all you just see is a sea of white and just all the noise. It was wild. Gophers got their asses kicked, unfortunately, but
I do
starting
remember that
Like
game.
that's
That was-
Yeah.
expected.
well, no, starting eighth in Cal McManus, he'll be the best quarterback, maybe in the Big Ten. Maybe probably not next year, but the year
Who?
after that.
We had
eighth in-
McNamara for 2 years. Like
Dude, this is I know I'm in an Iowa group chat. It's so crazy that you guys think
Drew
that.
Aller's going to be the best quarterback.
Are you
in
guys
the
talking
Big Ten
about
next
Cade
year.
McNamara, the guy that got benched at Michigan for not being good?
Whoa! He tore his ACL.
yeah, and he was
Blew
good.
out
So
his
he got
knee.
wally pipped.
Harbaugh
I mean,
Harbaugh likes to meet ride JJ McCarthy.
Well, and the
Fine.
thing
Well,
is,
he likes the better player.
Michigan knows it. No, this makes a lot of sense. So JJ McCarthy, like they made him a whole bunch of promises, and that's 90% of the reason he went to Michigan. And the thing is, at Michigan, if you don't start JJ McCarthy sooner rather than later, you're never going to get a 5-star top tier quarterback again. Like that's just how college football works nowadays. And honestly, I don't know that JJ McCarthy was better than Cade McNamara. I really don't. Like
McNamara took him to the playoff.
Come on,
Like,
you guys. Come on. Come on.
I don't.
Come
I'm
on.
not a big JJ McCarthy guy. I'm really not.
I'm
I don't
not
think
either. But watching them, he does a lot more, especially in the college game. He can move a little
that is
more,
true.
has more of a rocket arm. Cade McNamara is vanilla.
He's a
Let's put it
damn
that way.
good player, and he's going
He
to
is.
be really fucking good at Iowa. So I don't know. I think he's a top 3 quarterback in the Big Ten. I don't see where all this Kyle McCord hype is coming from at all. I don't think Ohio State's
what
gonna.
about Tanner
he'll be
Mordecai
good
in
because he
Wisconsin?
just has insane weapons.
Tanner
Tanner
Mordecai is kind of an oddball to me. I think
Wisconsin in a whole is.
the Luke Fickell Wisconsin offense is going to be kind of an adjustment period for them. I think it's going to be like they're. It's kind of like if Iowa brought in some spread guy and started running RPO 10 personnel the entire game. Like there would be an adjustment period. If Iowa brought in a spread guy right now, like for just spitballing here, but if like Steve Sarkisian for whatever reason left Texas and came to Iowa and they're running all RPOs and they're in 10 personnel the entire game, like they wouldn't be very good, I don't think.
I think
And all these
Wisconsin's
Wisconsin fans,
peculiar this year.
To your point, though, BJ, the Gophers actually just landed the top recruit in the state of Wisconsin for next year, offensive lineman. So interesting point. And maybe he wants to go play more of that traditional Big Ten football, and Luke Fickell's not bringing that.
See, and
he wants to go 7-5 and play for PJ Fleck.
I will say this: I love what Minnesota does on offense. Like they're shotgun RPOs, but they still run a lot of power eye stuff, or not power eye, but like power run game stuff where they're in 11 personnel. They have a tight end in the game. Like, I mean, the Wartburg offense is a hybrid between North Dakota State and Minnesota, like Trey Lance, North Dakota State, Minnesota. So that's like my favorite kind of offense, what Minnesota does. And I think Wisconsin's going to be a lot of 4 receivers on the field. They're never going to have a fucking fullback in the game, which is just not really what they're built for at all. So I think it'll be interesting. I think Mordecai is a good quarterback. I just don't think they're going to have a great season. So they'll be bowl eligible, but they're not going to win the West.
While we're on the topic of the Big Ten, can we talk Big Ten stadiums? Because we touched on the whiteout. Obviously, Happy Valley's number 1. That's a top 3 atmosphere in college football.
Sure.
I
don't know that's number 1. Stadium wise, atmosphere wise, yeah.
Stadium's nice. It's pretty basic, but it's nice. They didn't sell beer in the stadium until this year, so they have just like certain kiosks where you can buy beer. Mm-hmm. So the lines get incredibly long to buy a beer. That was probably
that's what it was like in Illinois too.
Yeah,
few two you remember that.
I think. I mean, I'm biased. I think Kinnick's a top 10 atmosphere in the country.
I think at a night game, yeah.
Right, night game, yeah. An 11 a.m. game against Miami, Ohio, or Illinois State, no. But
here's what Kinnick has going for it: is that it's literally straight up and down. Like you're right on top of the field.
Here,
you could be in the 40th
Michigan
row,
is the most overrated atmosphere in the country. It's just so big. Like I know a lot of people that have been there. They say it's so big, but it's not that loud because the sound goes up.
Yep.
I was going to say Kinnick is probably the perfect design for a college football stadium to have,
especially in Iowa.
Exactly. Like to have I don't know that every game.
Yeah, I don't know that
I'm guessing it sells out every game, right? Am I wrong?
Pretty close. Pretty much sold out, and then if it's too cold, some people or something. But I think that it's very similar to LSU architecture wise, where like it's all straight. You're right on top of the field. You can hear everything. Like you can't hear anything down at field level, like at all. It's so loud down there, especially like a night game. But what I would say is that I think Ohio State's the best stadium in the Big Ten.
Ohio State's incredible.
Really? That's nice.
Yeah.
The shoes.
I wanted to go this year. I wanted to go so bad, but
I'm thinking about going this year. The Gophers play out there, and we're trying to figure out a Big Ten road trip. So we've been considering
maybe in 2 years. I'll make that trip when Iowa plays there. I'm definitely going to USC when Iowa plays out there in 2 years.
Yeah, I think I got to go to the Coliseum next year.
Yes, for sure. That'd be sick.
Wisconsin, Camp Randall's phenomenal.
Camp Randall is phenomenal. I went for Gopher Badger last year. Gophers won, of course. I had no doubt in my mind. That's what we do. We handle our rivals. But it's awesome because the stadium, obviously you get the sun setting and the student section fills in throughout the game. So it's just like by the time the game is over or towards the end, it is just full. And obviously it's nice too when you beat the shit out of Bucky. But funny story from there, I brought my dab pen in to the game last year, and I was just ripping it a little bit, just whatever, drunk. And this guy got in my face, started screaming at me. I won't give a description of him at all, but he started screaming at me, and he's like, "This ain't Minneapolis. You can't do that here." And he's like, "If you keep doing that, I'm gonna call the police." I was like,
"What?
Calm down, whatever." But in my head, I was like, first of all, I wonder why he thought I lived in Minneapolis, But two, I was like, weed's not legal in Minneapolis either. It would be illegal at home too. So, guys had his facts mixed up a little bit. But that was a funny Camp Randall moment. But Camp Randall is gas. Maybe it's probably better than Kinnick. Let's be real.
No, it's not.
It's
hard for me. I think
it's got the classic architecture.
Depending on the opponent,
Kinnick is kind of cookie cutter. Kinnick is kind of cookie cutter.
Depending on the opponent and the time of kickoff. Like when Iowa was at Wisconsin, it was an 11 a.m. kick, and it was electric in there. We were getting our ass kicked, and jump around was still like, I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Now it pained me because I'm like, we're getting our ass kicked. We're about to drop 2 in a row. We were number 2 in the country 3 weeks ago.
No, that was a great season.
And
still beat Minnesota.
Now we're getting beat. But well, yeah, that's a given. That's like playing a high school team. But I mean, if we're being honest.
Anyway, so I am like definitely more on the side of like, I wish NFL stadiums would do this too, but there's like some fucking cathedrals in college football. Like
Yeah.
you think about like Oklahoma and like Florida State and these teams that have like these crazy, like it looks like Notre
Florida.
Dame, like Florida, yeah, like these places that there's huge brick
A&M,
structures that they almost look like MLB ballparks.
Yeah,
And
they really
I
do.
think I love that. And I really wish the NFL would have gone that route instead of making these spaceship looking things. I mean, I understand why they did, but like, I just think that's so cool. Like you can't beat like that kind of architecture. I think that's so sweet. And even like Kinnick's a little smaller scale because it's mostly underground, but I think
you got
that
the brick.
So sweet.
I actually do
brick.
like the look of Huntington Bank from the outside. It's
Yeah,
not like, I don't think it's like a phenomenal stadium, but like I'm a huge fan of the barn. It's nice. It's just it's not super big, but yeah, because you can see the city in the background, right?
Yeah, so the bank, Huntington Bank has a very nice skyline view. It's a stadium kind of similar to Kinnick too, where you walk up on it and the field is lower, which I think that just plays well, especially with college football because it's such like creates such a community kind of atmosphere. I mean, the problem with Huntington Bank, honestly, is that it's just not usually sold out. You know, that's the problem we have kind of.
That's a good point.
That's the product.
But what?
It's because of the product that they're putting out.
No, it's just too much stuff going on here. Great city, have a lot to do. Not worried about. Not always gonna.
We parked outside that stadium.
Not always gonna lose our weekend over what the bunch of 19-year-olds do on a football field. So.
We took a fireball shot in the parking lot of that stadium before walking into the barn.
We did.
I'm so on the barn. So I'm so on the barn because the seats are really narrow.
I think there's some horrible seats in the barn, but the barn I think is really cool. I love like old school like arenas and stuff.
The barn is
like,
awesome.
The barn is just tradition. I mean, you got Kevin McHale's number up in the rafters.
Yep.
I love it's like the raised court is like kind of quirky, but it's cool. I like the metal.
I always
poles
think of
everywhere.
us as
now
the
it would suck to
originators
get
of it,
put
too.
behind one of the metal poles, but excuse me. But the barn, I enjoyed a lot. I had a fun time. Mize and I made a little road trip up there. It was
I remember that.
It was like a 1 o'clock Sunday game.
Yeah,
and we were both just hung over as shit, and we left at like 7, 8 in the morning that day, and drove. It was cold. It was winter, obviously, but I mean, Iowa started out well, and then Minnesota started playing well, and then Iowa weathered the storm because as Minnesota's big bro, you got to win. But that team ended up being the Big Ten champs.
That 2 years ago.
Yeah, that would have been like January of 2022.
Yeah,
what a weekend that was. That Big Ten.
What happened to Iowa in the NCAA's? I can't remember. I'm actually you have a good memory, Nichols. Just run me back. What happened to Iowa in the NCAA's?
Where was Minnesota during the NCAA's?
Dude, come on, it's rude to answer a question with a question.
I know.
You're going down memory lane.
Yeah, we got
just
beat.
Was asking.
We had to go play Auburn in Alabama as a higher seed.
Yeah,
got a road game, and Auburn's a good team. We didn't bring it. We weren't prepared.
I do remember that game. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we participated in the big dance, and that's obviously always your goal. I think.
I guess
there weren't high expectations going into last season.
I'm a Coach Cal type of guy where it's I'm just trying to do what's best for my players to get them to the next level. So if that's playing in the tournament, if it's not playing in the tournament, and the season ending early, and you getting some draft work in, so I don't think the tournament's the end all be all.
Well, you're
Minnesota
not
gonna have anybody drafted?
Probably not on this team.
No, Battle's a nice player though.
Yeah, sure. We'll see. Battle will get some attention here in Ohio State. He'll have to bounce back from a pretty bad season, but I mean, he had foot surgery literally a month before the season started. So,
did he transfer to Ohio State?
Yeah,
I can remember. Yeah, Ohio State.
Gophers are having some NIL issues.
I couldn't remember where he transferred to.
I guess they couldn't match 150K offer from Ohio State. So we'll see. We just got one of the top players in the state of Minnesota.
Mortal Kombat.
And we'll see. I mean, the Gophers can't be much worse than they were last year in basketball. So
want to talk more about the draft tomorrow because I'm not really high on the draft. I don't really like a lot of the guys. I think this is going to be a class you don't really remember. And I don't know if I'm.
I think Wembanyama. We'll see what happens with Wembanyama, man.
I
I
mean,
think he's been a little
his
overhyped.
ceiling is so high though.
It is.
He has to stay healthy. It's so hard
So
with
was
his body
Bol
type to
Bowles.
stay healthy. Right. And it's just but okay, it wasn't Wemby because Bol didn't have the perimeter game that Wemby has.
That's true too.
Wembanyama's a 7'4" guard.
It's unfortunate that like the NBA draft has become a little less notable as guys just don't always play in college basketball, and obviously that's what you get the most exposure. But I feel like guys are still good coming in. You know, you can get some good role players. I know the Lakers have the 17th pick, hoping they add a guard in some capacity, but you can still get guys. It's just it's just so unfortunate that not all these guys are kind of household names, not necessarily like they were a few years ago. But
I
we'll
think
see.
Marcus Sasser will be a good NBA player.
Quentin Grimes, I guess, has value with the Knicks. I never thought he would have been a good NBA player. So
I like him for the Knicks. I also
don't know
like
how-
Jaime Jaquez too.
true.
I think he'll be a good
I-
NBA player.
I don't understand how Brandon Miller is still like projected top 5 pick. Like
He's a bust. He's gonna be a bust.
He's going too. So it sounds like the Hornets are going to take him.
He'll
That's
go
like the
number 2.
last thing I heard.
Yeah, he's a real good player, but obviously off the court, there's a lot of question marks.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yes,
even with his name, like if he's cleared of everything in that situation, like that's still that's a tainted rep. But he's a good player. He's got an NBA body, 6'9". He's long. He's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
His ceiling's high.
State took it to
But
him, though. San Diego State smoked them in the second round.
San Diego State had a top 10 coach in the tournament. Brian Dutcher's a hell of a ball coach.
He
go
is.
for
I know, I'm
go
just
for
saying.
legend. Go for alum and legend. Brian Dutcher.
Yeah, his dad was a coach in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But he went out early in the tournament, and then today he said Paul George was a GOAT. Today,
People were hating on him for that. I actually respected him for saying that, man.
No, I didn't.
GOAT is who you think is the GOAT, because I'm a Kobe's a GOAT guy. So it's like it's whoever your GOAT is, man. And does it have to always be about MVP and championships to say who your GOAT is?
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not trying to defend this on my deathbed right now, but people were hating on him a little too much for my liking. I was like, hey man, he's a Paul George fan.
Yeah, but okay,
Nothing
that's
wrong with that.
PG's pretty
that's
sick.
a shitty
And
GOAT.
PG is really good. I mean, PG's a really good basketball player.
Donovan Mitchell's better.
I'm gonna disagree with that, but Donovan Mitchell's really good.
Donovan Mitchell's probably better.
I have
scorer.
to be up for work in the morning, so I'm gonna head to bed. But I'm gonna leave you guys on this NBA draft. Wembanyama obviously going 1. I think I'm kind of with Mize. I don't think Brandon Miller's gonna really turn out to anything, but
Yeah.
if he does, he's either gonna be just a straight bust or he's gonna be really freaking good.
Right
I don't think he has an average career. I think he's really good or it's just poor.
We'll be like
but-
a week into the season, and it'd be like he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Right. But I am excited to see what Scoot Henderson turns out as because he's got some moxie to him.
Yeah.
He's got some confidence, but obviously we'll see tomorrow night, and I look forward to getting back on here maybe Friday or sometime this weekend and talking about it with you guys.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Love kicking it with you.
Real
Awesome.
quick, Nichols, real quick.
Yeah.
What do you got to say about Chris Murray? Because it's been the second year in a row now. The Hawks going to go in the first round of the NBA draft. So.
Yeah, Chris Murray, he's good. I think obviously he's another one of those guys. He's got an NBA body. I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Chris. Obviously, being an Iowa fan, I want the best for him. Hopefully, he gets in a good situation because sometimes, you can have a career kind of just fade out because they're not in the right situation. I think Chris Murray's a guy that, he's got kind of the NBA style game. He's a long athletic wing. He can take you inside. He can take you outside. He's like we've kind of seen. He's kind of like a year behind Keegan development wise. So I don't know how he'll be his first year, but just knowing people involved with the Iowa program and stuff, like Chris Murray is spoken very highly of, works his ass off. So I think he's going to go as far as his motor takes him.
Okay. That's good analysis. Hey, thanks for joining us, Josh.
Appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great night.
All right, we can kind of wrap things up here. I figured Nichols would be the first one to leave. He usually is, but I don't know if you guys have any other final thoughts. NBA or
Uh,
anything?
no, I guess my final thoughts are for sure want to do this again. I don't know, maybe we can do a little round table, but you know, I know it's kind of the abyss of the sports season with it just being baseball, but college football is right around the corner. It's going to be camp soon for the NFL. So I know people are kind of down and out right now about the sports season, but I don't know about you guys, but I've already kind of got the football itch and the feeling already that I'm kind of getting
I've
ready
had
for
it.
it. I'm reading about it, so I'm excited to you know kick it with you guys more when that stuff gets rolling as well, and excited for the NBA draft. Let's see, maybe the Timberwolves make a splash. Maybe they trade Karl Anthony Towns for that third pick.
Oh,
Shift that window back, pair scoot up with Anthony Edwards, open that window up a little bit more than it feels like they have right now, open up the books. So we'll see. That's what I'll be watching out for the draft.
yeah. I don't really have any other thoughts. We'll do it again. And yeah, college football. I'm getting the itch too. I've had the itch for football ever since the draft, so I'm
Yeah,
ready to go on that.
I like it when baseball kind of has its time to shine. You got college baseball. I have never
I've been
been.
enjoying college baseball.
Yeah, I've never been big into it in the past. I wish I kind of would have. Obviously, Iowa making the tournament this year has really kind of like sparked my interest in it.
Sure,
I think I'm
it's
a
really
base.
off. It's really offensive, which I like about like don't
Yeah,
necessarily like about it, but it is like it's easy to turn on and watch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
it is. It's pretty fast paced. You got a lot of like cool stadiums during the regular season. There's a
Yeah,
lot of cool, unique like baseball stadiums, and the tradition is I don't know. Tradition in Omaha is pretty cool too. I'd definitely like to go down
I
there
agree.
for that. So I like baseball when it has its time to shine. Because I'm a baseball guy, I'm a baseball purist. I still think it is the best sport of the four major sports. I would give it the number one ranking, just on a
Like
sport
that.
level. So I like having the having its little spotlight, but I am getting the football edge too. That'll kind of hit more towards the first couple weeks of July. Once it's like mid July, it's like, hey, August is around the corner. That's when I really like, okay, football's coming. I'm enjoying baseball right now where it is. So, but
I
thanks for
was.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I will say mine. I think we both enjoy. I think you and me both the last few years have understood kind of how much time and energy the NFL just takes up. So sometimes it
Yeah.
is nice, and I do appreciate when other sports kind of have their time because you know don't need the NFL to live.
Right. We've said this. You're like, we could get by with baseball, hockey,
Hmm.
boxing, and
And
cars.
racing, yeah,
Yeah.
and car
Yeah,
racing.
NASCAR. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you could throw
absolutely.
horse racing in there too. But those
yeah. I'm
you
gonna
can get
throw
by with
horse
those
racing
sports.
in there. Thank you. I need a very gambleable sport.
There you go.
Right.
Hmm.
Basketball's good. Football's a great, they're great sports, but
They're
if
great sports. But they'll always be great sports. You know.
right. So yeah. We'll end it on that. Those are the four or five main sports you need. The other ones are good while you have them, but they're not necessities, I'd say. So
Not necessities.
all right. Thanks for joining, fellas. We'll do this again soon. Like I said, baseball season, it really heats up in July. NBA draft, football's around the corner too. So plenty of things to talk about. But hey, thanks for joining us tonight, Carver. And well, BJ is just outside in the living room. So we'll chat a little bit. Thanks for coming in,
Yeah,
Carver.
All right.
nice chatting with you guys. I'll talk to you
Yep.
guys later.
See you,
See you,
Carver.
buddy.
Have a good rest of your week.